Thank you for joining us on this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's explore the headlines that are shaping the current news landscape. Translocated cheetah from Namibia give birth to 3 cubs in Kuno National Park. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare releases the results of a survey on antimicrobial resistance. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change submits proposals for Wetland City Accreditation under the Ramsar Convention. Recent studies report the presence of microplastic concentrations in landfill leachate. Lakshadweep's first solar project launched with battery energy storage system technology. 17 products from different states received the Geographical Indications tag. Starting with today's first news, translocated cheetah from Namibia gave birth to 3 cubs in Kuno National Park. This is the second litter of cheetah cubs to be born in country since the start of the Project Cheetah. Till now, there were 15 cheetahs at Kuno National Park and the tally now stands at 18. Now let's learn more about cheetahs and India's Project Cheetah. Cheetah, the world's fastest mammal, is a keystone species of dry forests, scrub forests and savannas. It is protected under Appendix 1 of CITES, and if we talk about their IUCN status, the African cheetah is listed as vulnerable under the IUCN's Red List of Threatened Species and the Asian cheetah is listed as critically endangered. Cheetah was declared extinct in India by 1952, the only large carnivore species that went extinct in independent India. Now coming to the Project Cheetah, it involved translocation of 20 cheetahs to India. Under the project, 8 cheetahs from Namibia and 12 from South Africa were translocated to Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. The objective of the project is to establish viable cheetah metapopulation in India that allows cheetah to perform their functional role as top predators. It receives funding from Project Tiger as well as Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management Planning Authority. The implementing agency of the project is the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Now let's take a brief look at the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Headquartered in New Delhi, the authority was established in the year 2006 as a statutory body under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. It is chaired by the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the Minister of State for Environment acts as its vice chairman. It performs crucial functions like providing ground protection initiatives, science-based monitoring of tigers, cheetah and their habitat, and fostering accountability of center state in management of tiger reserves. Coming back, let's discuss how Project Cheetah has progressed so far. The project has already met 4 criteria out of 6 criteria for assessing short-term success. First and foremost, it has achieved 50% survival of introduced cheetahs. Secondly, it established home ranges for cheetahs. Thirdly, cubs have been born in Kuno National Park. And finally, the project has brought revenue to the local communities. However, the project still faces some challenges like fatalities and lack of space and prey at Kuno National Park.
Coming to the next news. Recently, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has released the results of a survey on antimicrobial resistance or AMR. The hospital-based survey was conducted by the National Center for Disease Control under National Program of Antimicrobial Containment. Now coming to the key findings of the survey. Wide variations among hospitals have been reported. Prescription of antimicrobials varied between 37% to 100% of patients among surveyed hospitals. The second important finding is preventive usage. 55% of the antibiotics prescribed were not for the treatment but for the prevention of an infection. Thirdly, empirical prescriptions. 94% of antibiotics prescribed were empirical, that is given by the doctors based on what they thought had caused the infection. AMR occurs when microbes like bacteria, fungi, parasites and viruses evolve so that antimicrobial drugs against them are no longer effective. Due to resistance, infection spread and treatment of diseases and medical conditions becomes harder. Microorganisms that develop antimicrobial resistance are referred to as superbugs. The World Health Organization or the WHO has identified AMRs among the top 10 public health threats. WHO classifies antibiotics into 3 groups to emphasize the importance of their appropriate use. The first group is Axis group, which offers the best therapeutic value with less potential for resistance. The next comes Watch group, with a higher resistance potential and that which needs to monitor usage to avoid overuse. And lastly, Reserve group. This is the last resort antibiotics to treat severe infections caused by multi-drug resistant pathogens.
Moving on to the next news, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change submitted proposals for Wetland City Accreditation under the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is an intergovernmental treaty under UNESCO which was adopted in Ramsar in Iran in the year 1971. It provides the framework for the conservation and wise use of wetlands and their resources. Currently, there are 75 Ramsar sites in India. Coming back to the news, the proposals for Wetland City Accreditation is the first nomination of its kind by the ministry and included the cities of Indore, Bhopal and Udaipur. Now let's discuss more about Wetland City Accreditation. It is a voluntary accreditation system to recognize the importance of wetlands in urban and peri-urban environments. Peri-urban areas are zones of transition from rural to urban land uses. The system was approved in the COP12 of Ramsar Convention in 2015. Its main objective is to promote the conservation and wise use of wetlands as well as provide sustainable socio-economic benefits for local populations. The accreditation system is based on 6 criteria like the presence of Ramsar sites in the city or other wetland conservation sites. Once granted, it is valid for 6 years. The acceptance of India's proposals will help in implementation of Amrit Dharohar initiative across the country. The initiative aims to promote the unique conservation values of Ramsar sites in the country. Having said this, let's understand why wetlands are considered so important. Wetlands not only provide ecosystem services like water supply, food and biodiversity, but also help in mitigating floods in urban areas and recharging their groundwater table. Moreover, they provide recreational facilities and act as tourist attractions.
Coming to the next news, recent studies have reported the presence of microplastics concentrations in landfills leachate. Leachate is formed when rainwater filters through waste placed in landfills. Studies highlighted that landfills contribute in creating an environment conducive for disintegration of plastic items into microplastics. It is mainly due to different biochemical reactions which lead to temperature fluctuations, high salinity, low pH, and generation of gases such as methane, etc. Microplastics are typically the plastics of size ranging from 1 micrometer to 5 millimeters. They can be categorized as primary microplastics, which can be virgin or manufactured, and secondary microplastics, which are formed by the degradation of plastics due to photodegradation, etc. For example, the laundering of synthetic clothes, abrasion of tires through driving, microbeads in facial scrubs, etc. Now let's go through the consequences of microplastics. Leaching of toxic substances such as phthalates, bisphenol A, etc. in soil and groundwater, bioaccumulation of toxic pollutants in food web, health impacts on humans and animals like endocrine disruption, DNA damage, decreased reproductive health, cancer, etc. A number of initiatives have been taken to lessen the impact of microplastics. At the global level, UNEP's Clean Seas campaign, Global Partnership on Plastic Pollution and Marine Litter, negotiations on Global Plastics Treaty, etc. At the national level, the ban on single-use plastics, extended producer responsibility under Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2022 have been taken. Now coming to a related news, the single screw extruder. It is an indigenously developed equipment for mechanical recycling of waste, thermoplastic polymers and inorganic particulate. With its help, polymer composites can be molded to the required shape for making paver blocks, tiles and bricks. It has been developed by IIT Bombay with the help of the Department of Science and Technology.
Moving on, Lakshadweep's first solar project was launched with battery energy storage system technology. The launch is quite significant as battery energy storage system is considered critical for the promotion of renewable energy through efficient energy storage systems. First, let's take a closer look at energy storage systems. Energy storage systems can be of different types. such as mechanical systems, for example, pumped hydro energy storage, electrochemical systems such as battery energy storage system, thermal systems like phase change materials, electrical systems, for example, supercapacitors, and finally fuel cells. Now let's discuss more about the battery energy storage system. These systems use different electrochemical reactions to store electricity. Its examples include lithium-ion battery and sodium-sulfur batteries. Now there are two main categories of battery energy storage systems. First are the traditional solid rechargeable batteries, where the chemical energy is stored in solid metal electrodes. And the second category is flow batteries, where chemical energy is stored in varying types of flowing liquid electrolytes kept in tanks separate from the actual electrochemical cells. These systems are especially important for India, as they can help in achieving India's target under Panchamrit to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. Also, it can help improve grid stability in India during variable renewable generation. However, the development of battery energy storage systems in India is quite slow in comparison to countries like China due to factors like low domestic production. This is because India has limited availability of needed raw materials such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Furthermore, India faces other challenges like a lack of high-quality R&D infrastructure and appropriate technology transfer and high cost of installation of such systems. Notably, Ministry of Power in India has taken a number of initiatives to promote their development. One such initiative is the Scheme for Viability Gap Funding for the Development of Battery Energy Storage System. It envisions 4,000 megawatt-hour of battery energy storage system projects by the year 2030-31 with financial support of up to 40% of the capital cost as viability gap funding. Also, the National Framework for Promoting Energy Storage Systems was unveiled in the year 2023.
Recently, 17 products from different states have received the Geographical Indications tag or the GI tag. The products are Langia Sora paintings, Dongria corn shawl, Khajuri Gud, Dhenkanal Magji, Similipal Kai chutney, Nayagad Kantai Mundi brinjal, Koraput Kalajira rice from Odisha. A few products from Arunachal Pradesh are handmade carpets, Wancho wooden craft, and Adi Kekir, which is a type of ginger. Tangail sari, Garat sari, Korial sari, Kalonuya rice, and Sundarban honey from West Bengal. Ramban Anardana from Jammu and Kashmir, and lastly, Kachhi Khadek from Gujarat. A GI tag is a sign used on products that have a specific geographical origin and possess qualities or a reputation that are due to that origin. Now coming to the various measures for the international recognition of products. Under the Paris Convention for the Protection of Industrial Property, GI are covered as an element of intellectual property rights or IPRs. These are also covered under the WTO's trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights or TRIPS agreement. Lastly, the Madrid Agreement and the Lisbon Agreement. In India, GI registration is administered by the Geographical Indications of Goods, Registration and Protection Act of 1999. It is used to identify agricultural, natural, and manufactured goods. GIs are registered by the Register of Geographical Indications or RGI, which is the Controller General of Patents, Designs, and Trademarks. The duration is of 10 years and can be renewed. And the nodal ministry is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The tags confer legal protection against unauthorized use and also boosts exports. The place in the news for today is Iran, the capital of which is Tehran. Recently, India has condemned the twin explosions that took place in the Kerman city of Iran. Coming to the political features of Iran, well, it is a country in the Middle East or West Asia, and its bordering nations are Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, and Iraq. And the bordering water bodies include Caspian Sea, Gulf of Oman, and Persian Gulf. Let's briefly go through its geographical features. Its major mountain ranges are Zagros, Elburz, and Caucasus. Its highest point is Mount Damavand, which is a dormant stratovolcano. The major deserts are Dasht-e-Kavir and Dasht-e-Lut, while Lake Urmia and Gahar Lake are its major lakes.
we conclude today's main news, let's go through some quick updates. The Election Commission of India brought new rules for the allocation of symbols to registered unrecognized political parties. These are those parties that have not secured enough percentage of votes in the assembly or general election to become a state party. It also includes newly registered parties or parties that have never contested elections after being registered. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade is planning to undertake a third-party assessment of the PLI scheme in the white goods segment. White goods refer to heavy consumer durables or large home appliances which were traditionally available only in white. Its examples include washing machines and air conditioners. A power purchase agreement has been signed between Ratle Hydroelectric Project Power Corporation and Rajasthan Urja Vikas and IT Services Limited. It is a run-of-river project with a capacity of 850 megawatt and is located on the river Chenab in Jammu and Kashmir. SpaceX, an American company, launched the first batch of Starlink satellites with direct-to-cell capabilities. Direct-to-cell satellites have an advanced E-Node B modem on board that acts like a cell phone tower in space. Ministry of Education launched the Prerna and Experiential Learning Program to empower participants with leadership qualities. It is a week-long residential program for selected students of class 9th to 12th. Central Drug Standard Control Organization has banned all charges except supply and processing costs on blood units. The organization is the Central Drug Authority for discharging functions under the Drugs and Cosmetics Acts of 1940. It is responsible for functions like approval of drugs and conduct of clinical trials. The Border Road Organization has utilized RegiPave technology for constructing high-altitude bituminous roads under low and sub-zero temperature conditions of Indo-China border in Arunachal Pradesh. RegiPave is a liquid bio-based asphalt modifier cum rejuvenating agent. An inscription of Kadam period has been discovered in Goa. It is a bilingual inscription written in Kannada and Sanskrit. Kadam dynasty was founded by Mayur Sharma in 345 CE and it ruled over present-day Karnataka and Konkan. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to the test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.